Yes, a lot of it is like not knowing how to handle your money. That's where a lot of it falls. Yeah, they get, that's the key thing, is to have a budget and to know how to budget your money. A lot of times we don't think about it. Not being educated enough, and it's carrying on from generation to generation.
So it's a cycle.
So it's a cycle, and somebody has to break that cycle to say, I want to be better than that. Yes, their lack of education, need more training, come from single parent homes. Some of them just having tough times, lost jobs, but a lot of single family homes or senior citizens that come to our door.
It's likely a financial problem. Young Americans are not aware or understand how to properly handle finances, and in an ever-changing global society, that's really an essential trait. So I believe that's kind of hindering the progress of young Americans. Some have stated a brain drain. I personally, like myself, I don't really see myself staying in Mississippi once I graduate from college. So we have intelligent students who recognize that there's not a lot of opportunities in Mississippi, and so the people with the real talent leave, and that leaves a real gap in our infrastructure, and it's really difficult to come back from that, I feel.
I think the biggest problem facing Americans today is the fact that students aren't sure if they can pay for college, and they're not sure that they're going to have a job once they get outside of college. I feel like people abuse the Social Security system, and they don't want to work. I feel like the resources are there for the people to get jobs. I feel the jobs are out there. It's just people aren't using their resources and abilities.
In your opinion, how does family affect education?
Honestly, I feel like if you come from like a very stable home, you'll be more involved, active, making good grades. But on the other hand, if you're coming from a more unstable, your family's not there for you, those kids tend to like drop out, or teenage pregnancy is a very big one in Mississippi. But it has changed my opinion about people due to governor school. There are people from different backgrounds that you never knew. It just depends on who you are inside, how much dedication and motivation you have within you.
For people who don't have parents like mine that help them out, I think it's so important that they get plugged in. I think the state really should have a program or have like an online course where they can learn about like special taxes or special programs, student loans, certain things like that that they'll have to know for the real world, because someone needs to be there to tell them that if their parents can't.
How would you motivate other Mississippi teens to come follow you?
I would honestly say to think about where you could be. Think about the worst place you could be, and think about the best place you could be. And I'd say to work your hardest to not go to that worst place and to go to the best place.
I think education is definitely a big problem, especially in America, because of the emphasis that was put on, like, in the Cold War, especially like math and science. They don't get a whole lot of humanities, like art and literature and stuff, and those are often, and music especially, arts programs being cut across the United States. So they're not getting a well-rounded education, and that doesn't really work for some people. and the way they're measuring it is just standardized across the board tests for everyone, and I don't think that's a good measure of knowledge at all. Oh, I think it's because, first of all, there's no real financial literacy given to them. There's no sort of classes involved in that, and the only way they can learn is from their parents. And from what I've seen, I think a lot of their parents have a lot of problems with financial literacy. Also, a budgeting class would have been just the greatest. I mean, there'd been little, like, a little hour of a seminar that helped out or something, or, you know, this is how you write a check for when you're a grown-up, like in 4th grade. But there was no actual class that taught me, oh, this is, you know, this is how much money you'll get, this is what you should do with that money, this is how you save money. Any kind of personal economics would have been just invaluable.
I think any individual has difficulty with money when they don't understand it. I don't think that this stems from children in general or just teenagers. We know that adults model their spending habits and that their children will model the spending habits of adults. And many adults don't understand the value of the money that they have, and they don't invest wisely. And so if they don't follow good investing habits and they don't find ways to utilize the funds that they have, then their children and those that model themselves after those adults will follow similar spending patterns. Also, currently in the educational system, as a career educator, I've seen in people a sense of entitlement when it comes to that, and that some of the students that I have worked with come to class expecting that they're going to get an A, or expecting that just because they show up to class they should receive a good grade, and that education is not something that should be earned. It's just something that should be handed to them. And like anything that's of value, work should be involved. And I think maybe this is a societal thing and not just Mississippi, but if we're not willing to work for the things that we have, then we may have a serious systemic problem that goes beyond just Mississippi.
I just want to give a few encouraging words to people going through a hard time. I come from a broken home myself, and I know how hard things can get. I know the struggles and what it's like to go through high school and school when your parents are in a rough spot and you're dealing with it also. But I also know that it's possible to get through that and not let it hinder you from your achievements and doing what you want to do. Coming from a broken home or poverty or anything like that does not have to limit you and what you can achieve and accomplish. I really want to encourage you and anybody out there who is going through a hard time and going through any struggles like that to just keep going, push through it, dive into your schoolwork, because that's what's gonna release you, and that's gonna be your escape. I know from personal experience that getting involved and doing my best in school and all of that was so helpful and crucial for my success and me successfully getting through the hard times that my parents were going through. So I really just want to encourage people to you can do it. You can get through it and you can succeed.